The citizens of the United States have not elected a president since John F. Kennedy was assassinated, with the exception of Donald Trump, who isn't really a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian. He isn't beholden to anyone and isn't controlled by the deep state, and this is why he is being attacked on all sides. He cannot reveal the truth about what has happened to this country since John F. Kennedy was assassinated, but I can tell you, and have told you in previous videos, the deep state has sold us out, while a few have made trillions of dollars and have looted the world of its real money, its gold and silver. All of the rest of us are stuck with bullshit paper that isn't worth a lit fart in a wool mitten. In the process, these subhuman scum are responsible for both world wars and every skirmish since, and they are guilty of treason and mass murder on a scale which is incomprehensible to average, decent human beings. The hijacking of the value of our currency is why the big banks, Federal Reserve, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and all of the fiat paper currency manipulating bastards are totally against Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We stand on the very precipice of a global renaissance if only we could educate and enlighten the masses who still think that the mainstream media is the gospel truth. The deep state's days are numbered, and they know it. They know that they are standing on the hair trigger that will take them down for good, and they are scared absolutely shitless. Let's make their nightmares come true, and the dream of world peace a reality.
Hello, my name is Dave from net4truthusa.com. It is July 4th, 2017. Welcome to another Covfefe with Dave. This is number 115. And I hope everybody's going to have a safe 4th of July. Oh, this stuff is good. If you don't have to be on the roads tonight, a lot of people are getting shit-faced drunk and driving around. I even see it when I came down here this morning. People are driving erratically, not paying attention to what they're doing. Please be careful and remember that everybody on the road is an asshole except you. If you have that attitude, you will keep your shield. I call it a shield of defense. It's called tactical defensive driving. Stay away from everybody. This way, the only accident you're going to get into is if you fall asleep and crash your car up against a tree. Okay, that being said, it has been confirmed that emails taken from Anthony Weiner, the Peter Tweeter's laptop, confirm that Huma Abedin, who somehow got a top secret clearance, even though she is directly related to her mother, who runs the women's version of the newspaper for the Muslim Brotherhood. How that happens, I don't know. And I think that is probably, I mentioned it once before in a previous video, and it hasn't been a story that anybody covered, a situation that anybody took notice of. Even during the 8 years of Obama, nobody said, hey, how does the daughter of the publisher of the women's version of the newspaper for the Muslim Brotherhood get a security clearance to work right next to the Secretary of State? Nobody raised that question. But you know what? When I was in the Air Force, I joined in 1969 and served until 1972, a year in Vietnam from 70-71. What it took for me to get a security clearance took 8 months of vetting. 8 months. Psychological evaluations, the whole nine. The FBI went to places that I forgot I ever been to, asking questions about me. And if you were a relative, anybody who was a communist or anybody who had any communist leanings or any of that stuff, or you had any relatives in North Vietnam, you were automatically, summarily, without a question, denied a security clearance. So what happened between then and now? I want to know. I want to know what the hell happened to the vetting process that the daughter of a terrorist, her mother is a terrorist, because if you're writing for Al-Qaeda and ISIS and who the hell are you, Muslim Brotherhood, if you're writing their newspaper, you're a fucking terrorist. I don't care what you say. How does the daughter of a terrorist get to work next to the Secretary of State of the United States? I want to know. There is something drastically wrong with the system. And I don't think it's the system. It's the people running the system. It's the people who are enforcing what is supposed to be done in the system. Abedin sent top secret classified information to several unsecured email accounts somewhere that they don't know yet. How does that happen? And I want to know how the hell top secret information ends up in an email anyhow. Top secret email should be on paper with chain of custody established. Like evidence in a criminal case. Chain of custody. Too much shit is classified. Too much stuff is classified. There is no reason to classify information pertaining to crimes committed by politicians and aides to politicians. That's not a reason for classification. So too much shit is classified. The recording, the cabin recorder, I'm going to leave the links down in the description, where Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton were actually recorded on that little conversation, that little 45-minute conversation that we're talking about grandkids and golf. That conversation was recorded. I got the letter. I don't know how many other people got the letter. Nobody reported on it but me. This was back November 15th of last year. And after a few minutes of thinking about it, I said, I better put this out there before somebody who knows me must have given me this letter. I don't know how the hell it ended up in my hands. But November 15th of last year, I read the letter, and I'm going to leave a link for in the description. It was very badly recorded from the only thing I had on my phone at the time was some recorder app that said the words 2 minutes after my mouth moved. But it went viral. It went nuts. It had over 250,000 hits. And some of the people took it for what it was, and some people said, where's the recording? I never said I had the goddamn recording. I never in that video said I had the recording. I read the letter, that was it. That said somebody who was a business traveler dropped his recorder on a plane and accidentally turned it on or something, and it recorded a conversation that he didn't know he recorded. Then he got it home and he noticed that it was somebody sounded like Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch. And people ask me, where's the recording? Well, if I had the recording, I'd play it. Turns out that was a bullshit story. That whole letter was a bullshit story. But the recording does exist. The reason for the letter and the bullshit story was that the person who actually leaked the recording wanted whoever saw the video that I was going to make, or read the letter, or got the letter, to think that it was a businessman rather than somebody who had access to the plane itself, where there is, on a government plane, cabin and cockpit recorders that run continuously. So they got them. They got them dead to rights on digital recording. What they said, who knows? But the NSA has it. And Judicial Watch, in a FOIL request, requested a copy of any and all this and that having to do with this thing. And the recording was, they didn't know, apparently, But the NSA responded with a denial of FOIA request, saying that this recording was classified. Now, what could be classified about golf and grandchildren? What could be classified about golf and grandchildren? And you know, nobody in the mainstream media will have the balls to call this treason. But that's exactly what it is. It's a hang you by an oak tree criminal offense against the people of the United States. This is what it is. It's treason cut and dry. Put you up against the wall, firing squad your ass, and be done with you. So that's the whole government under Obama committed treason, from Comey to Loretta Lynch to Barack Obama to Hillary Clinton to Huma Abedin to Cheryl Mills to Lisa Rice, the whole freaking clan of them. And why is it that they're wanting to destroy the United States? I tell you what I think. Ever since Nixon took us off the gold standard, the world has paid for oil in US dollars. Then Gaddafi came along. Remember Muammar Gaddafi? In Libya? The real bad guy that we made into a boogeyman? Well, he said, fuck this US dollar shit. We're gonna go to a gold standard. Our money is gonna be in gold, and we're gonna have gold dinars, and we're gonna pay for everything in gold. Well, we couldn't have that because the dollar is worth whatever the Federal Reserve Bank and the World Bank deem it to be worth at any given time. And this goes back to 1913. You know, when the Federal Reserve started. Because since then, let me digress for a minute. In 1776, when we had the revolution, when we declared our independence from England, the tax rate from goods that are being bought and sold, the Boston Tea Party, remember that? Guess what the tax rate was? The tax rate was 2%. 2%. We entered a revolution on account of 2%. What's the tax rate today? How much money are they taking out of your pocket today on your paycheck? Is it like 33%? And on top of that, since 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its value. 97% of its value. And they're taking a third of that. And they're taxing you on everything. They tax you for sewers. They tax you for this, they tax you for that, they tax you for this, and what do you get out of it? What do you get out of the money you pay in taxes? And you know what? There isn't even a law, there's not a law that says that you have to pay federal income tax. There is no law. And I'll leave a link for you down in the description where you can prove that to yourself. IRS agents, lawyers, everybody says there is no law. So if there is no law, the money that you're giving the federal government to piss away, to go and kill people over in the Middle East and piss people off and stir the turd over there, all that money, you don't have to pay it. There is no law. Look it up. Okay? Look it up. Do your own research. Don't count on me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you the facts. You can call it bullshit all you want to. But when you research it and divine the truth for yourself, you will find out what I'm telling you is true. And nobody has the balls to act on it. Everybody's afraid of the IRS. They'll come take your house. They'll take your car. Yeah, come take my car. Come take my house. Bring body bags. You'll need them. It's about time that the people who are awake in this country take it back. Take it back. We need to abolish the Federal Reserve and the World Bank. We need to put our currency back on the gold standard. In fact, what I would do as president is what they did when we went over into Vietnam. They took all of our U.S. currency and issued us military payment certificates, MPC. And MPC was only good on base. And this prevented the black market trading of black market goods and the giving of money, which was still, see, back then, before Nixon took us off the gold standard, it was still redeemable in a bank for gold. So if you gave money to the Vietnamese to buy a pack of cigarettes or buy a drink down in the Saigon bar somewhere, they could take that money, bring it over to the United States, bring it to a bank and say, hey, give me gold, give me silver, whatever. That's why they did that. So you want to do away with the drug market and all the illegal drugs? Here's what you do. You say, on November 1st, 2017, everything, all the paper money in the United States, any deposits in banks based on paper money in the United States is worthless. Absolutely worthless. Wipe your ass with it. In its place, what we're going to do is we're going to issue a new currency. Completely, totally different currency. Backed in gold. In order for you to retain your bank accounts, the money in your pocket, the money you got stuffed in a mattress anywhere, in order for you to retain that, you have to physically take that money, take it to a bank, and exchange it for the new currency that's backed in gold. And if you have large bank accounts that's got billions of dollars in it, well, you better account for where that money came from before you get the new currency. Or otherwise, that money that you have in the account that's based on US dollars isn't going to be worth a lit fart in a wool mitten. It isn't worth a lit fart in a wool mitten now, but the only reason it's worth anything is because you think it's worth something. You take it to the store and somebody gives you, groceries or whatever for it, or you can take it to a car dealer and somebody, you buy a car. They think it's worth money. You believe it's worth money, and they exchange real goods for that money. When you go to buy a mortgage, you borrow $200,000-$300,000 from a bank. You're not borrowing anything that's worth a shit. They just print that money up. Whoop. It's like it's vaporware. It's numbers in a computer. So what did you buy? What did they give you of value? Nothing. And the person you bought the house from, they gave you a real tangible property in exchange for that. That's what it's worth. Smoke and mirrors. Like Wizard of Oz. The guy, little midget behind the curtain working the levers, and you think he's a big dragon, all powerful, all mighty, all knowing, all seeing, all that. He's bullshit. That's bullshit. So remember what we fought for, that this holiday celebrates. This holiday celebrates the independence of the United States from tyranny. And back then, a 2% tax was considered tyranny. And that's when money was worth something. And now that money ain't worth a shit, the little bit that it's worth, they're taxing at 33% and up. And not only are they taxing you when you get it, they're taxing you when you spend it. They're taxing you when you win it. They run the perfect mafia operation is the lotto. You buy a lotto ticket that's making book. You win money. and then the bookie takes a half of it. What kind of shit is that? People, wake up already, please. Wake up. I'd like to see it in my lifetime, but I don't think I'm going to see it. People, present company accepted. The people in this country, the libtards, the people who are walking around with the pussy hats and holding Hillary signs and still believing she's God's gift to mankind, those people are beyond help. They're beyond help. Beyond. Don't even try. Don't even try talking to them. Just, you're wasting your breath. You're wasting your breath. The only way we're going to get this country back, I'm telling you right now, you can pass all the laws you want to. You can fire all the politicians you want to. You can fire that, and it's all... The real people you got to get to are the guys pulling the strings that you'll never see. You'll never see. George Soros, the Rothschilds, all those rich bastards over there. Those are the people who are the enemies, the banks. The people sitting behind the value of the currency. Those are the enemies of the country. And why do they want all these immigrants to come over? Well, getting back to what I said before I digressed into the digression. Oil has been paid for with US dollars since forever. Here comes Gaddafi wants to go on a gold standard, pay for oil with gold. We can't have that, because if Saudi Arabia started demanding gold for oil, we'd be in deep shit, because our money literally isn't worth a lit fart in a wool mitten. We have to maintain the illusion that this money is worth something. So we don't have any gold to trade because that was taken. The biggest gold heist in world history happened on 9/11. And like I said in several previous videos, there is no gold in Fort Knox. All the soldiers around there and all the security cameras are guarding air. They're guarding air. And if any politician wants to dispute that fact, let me into Fort Knox with a camera, and I will report whether or not the gold is there. It's very simple. It's very simple. You have an allegation. The allegation is made. So prove that the allegation is wrong, and make me look like an asshole by showing me that the gold is in the vaults in Fort Knox. And if you can't, you say, well, I can't let you in Fort Knox. Why not? Nobody's been in Fort Knox since 1971. Coincidentally, around the same time that Tricky Dicky took us off the gold standard. Call that another coincidence if you want to. I know for a fact there was gold vaults under the Trade Center. I saw them with my own eyeballs. I worked down in Wall Street for many years as an IBM technician, and the security company that ran the cameras and ran the electronics for the vaults down in the Trade Center was one of my customers that I serviced computers for. So here you have a first-hand account that there was gold in the World Trade Center. Where'd the gold go? Who knows? Disappeared like a fart in the wind. Nobody ever found it. And I tell you what, the thing that got some people going is when one of the mints, I forget, it was a Franklin mint, one of the mints had an advertisement about commemorative bullion bars, and you may remember it. It was done maybe 7-8 years ago. Silver recovered from the World Trade Center. What? How are you recovering silver from the World Trade Center? You couldn't even get in there. A month after the buildings came down, there was molten steel. Molten steel, like fucking lava, flowing in the basement of the World Trade Center. You ain't recovering shit from that. Because it was melted steel from thermite, from hundreds, maybe thousands of thermite explosive packages planted on those beams to take that
Trade Center straight down into its own shadow. There is an interminable litany of bullshit stories that just seem to go in one ear and out the other. Doesn't bother us. As long as I got my white picket fence, my dog, and a lawn to mow, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter if I'm an economic slave. Doesn't really matter that I give half my money between the taxes and the inflation, more than half actually, to the government, and they go over there to stir the turd, to piss people off, and create refugees that end up over here murdering and raping people. Doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't happen in my neighborhood. This is the mentality. This is the mentality that we've grown. I mean, we went from a 2% tax that England charged for tea, getting a whole nation so pissed off that they threw tea into the harbor and said, "Fuck you. We ain't taking this shit no more." To a nation of faggot pussies that couldn't perch their way out of a paper bag and wouldn't lift a finger to save their mother. This is the country that we devolved into. Because when you can't defend your family and you can't defend your country, you ain't worth a damn in my book. You ain't worth a damn in my book. When are we going to wake up? Never. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why Donald Trump is over there in Saudi Arabia. He's over there because the Saudis own us. Literally. We can't pay them in gold. And we can't pay them in US dollars anymore because US dollars ain't worth a shit. So what do we have to pay them with? Land. Physical property. And this is a deal that was done during the Obama years. I think. If not before then. If not with George Bush. So you go over there and you stir the turd and you create refugees. And you get a bunch of libtards running around saying, "Oh, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Fuck you and your hoarded masses. Go back where the hell you came from. Go worship your rocks and do your shit Allah Akbar 5 times a day. Go do that shit over your own country." I'm sure the women are happy though. Women are real happy. Because they're running around over there with those Darth Vader costumes with the eye slits in 132 degrees in the shade. Coming over here to New York, New Jersey, even New Mexico. Their weather ain't near as hot. You know, you don't have to use so much underarm deodorant if you'd use it at all. And no wonder these people, listen, Islam is a pedophile religion. What do you think they get these 72 virgin shit from? Huh? Does that make any sense to you? How come grown-ass men, 50 years old, are marrying 6-year-old girls after their prophet Muhammad? Oh, my prophet Muhammad did that. They venerate a pedophile. By today's standards, a 50-year-old man marrying a 6-year-old girl is a tree-jumping fucking pedophile. Straight like that. Don't they won't deny it. It's in the Quran. It's in the Quran. So they can't deny it. So all they can do, if they want to maintain their whatever the hell it is that you call it, it's not a religion, it's a terrorist manifesto. If they want to maintain that, they can't deny it because it's in the book. So the only other thing they can do is venerate it and uplift it and say, "Oh, it's normal." Not in this country. Not in this country, it ain't.
And you better believe it ain't never going to be normal in this country. So Donald Trump's over there with the Darth Vaders and the sand niggers trying to negotiate how the hell we're going to keep these people the hell out of here. Because Saudi Arabia, the Arab Emirates, are the most backward ass people you ever want to meet. Backward ass people. They put on a good front. That's Turkey. That's their lie. Their lie front. Turkey, and there's another name for it. I can't think of it at the moment. As how to lie, to propagate, and to promote your religion. It's in the Quran. So the Arabs own us because we don't have any currency that's worth a damn to them or to anybody for that matter. So while you got some money, do some good with it. Do some good with it. Give it to charity, take a tax deduction, do whatever you got to do with it, but don't let it sit in the bank. They're only using it to kill people. They're only using it to go murder people. For every dollar you put in the bank, they lend out $10 to go kill people. That's what they do. And if you want to make this world a better place, you got to wake up first. You know, these people, Barack Obama, could not even define the enemy. He couldn't even say the enemy's name. I mean, during World War II, the Germans were Krauts, the Japs were Nips, and, you know, we had our names for them. Over in Vietnam, we call them gooks, slopes, zipperheads, whatever you want to call them. The soldiers over Iraq, call those people over there sand niggers. Use whatever terminology you want. Oh, they're going to demonetize this video. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Not going to last long anyhow. They keep doing it to people. It's not going. This venue not going to last long. And it's not going to matter because in all this time, in 60 years since John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and while I'm on the subject, I'm going to leave a link down in the description, the plot to seize the White House. Go to that link, you'll read my foreword to the book that we republished when it went out of print. You got to read that. I read it once before in a previous video. But you have to realize what lies between the lines when people tell you things. And George Bush started this whole thing. It was continued by Barack Obama, proving that whoever you voted for, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, doesn't matter. It's all the same shit. The same puppet masters are up there controlling all of them. And you might think that Donald Trump is a Republican, but he's not. Half the Republicans are against him because they know if he gets his way, if he's able to do completely what he says he's going to do, they're done. And their bosses who pull the strings are done. And because the bosses pull the strings with all of this blackmail, primarily on pedophilia, that fully half the government is going to be exposed as being child molesters, child rapists, and worse. That's why the media, who's controlled by these people, will not touch Pizzagate, Petagate, whatever you want to call it. They won't touch it. Because once they pull that thread, it's done. They'd rather chase non-existent Russian hacking of the election
than cover real stories that make a difference in people's lives, or would make a difference in people's lives if the truth would be exposed. But God forbid that they would expose it. And the one guy that was on, I think it was on NPR, who got up there and said things about Pizzagate and just touched the scratch, gone. The guy's gone. Took him off the air, never heard from him again. Probably he's in a grave somewhere, or he's in a 50-gallon drum somewhere in the Pine Barrens. Who the hell knows? But we risk our lives, even I, even some little guy with 10,000 subscribers. But I tell you something, they come and fuck with me, I got something for their ass. This is Dave from net4truth.usa.com. If you like these videos, please put $1 in the Patreon account. Every little bit helps. And if it wasn't for our patrons here and our supporters, we wouldn't have made it this far. Because I tell you, I got Barack Obama's Affordable Health Care Act. I don't know who the hell can afford that shit. Maybe somebody who won the Mega Million, but not me. Not me. Not me. Not you either. Take care.